Game 40 yards rushing, no conversions on third down. What do you take away from that?
You go through the game, you really don't need to look at the stats. Obviously, we didn't play great. Obviously, we fell behind early, missed some opportunities to capitalize on some big plays in the game that really kind of devastated, the morale of the team and really as an offense. And the thing for us is, responding from adversity early on. You look at it, we've had three opening drives that have all ended in fumbles, and we've got to learn how to respond in those situations when we face adversity. And so, there was, statistics at the end of the game really didn't matter. I think we kind of saw it. I felt the pain for the kids when you're able to go in that locker room and look in their eyes and see, what they're going through and how they feel. It hurt. It hurt. It's one of those feelings that you never want to experience again, and one that hopefully takes away from it and really shows everyone, the importance of everything and every little detail that we stress and emphasize.
In your opinion, are the fumbles happenstance, or is it something mentally weighing on them that they're thinking about?
We've devoted so much time. It's uncharacteristic. It really is. When you look at the time that we devote to ball security, there's no. I wish I had an answer. If I had the answer, we probably wouldn't be occurring right now. Let me say this too. I know each and every one of those young men that have had the ball in their hand, they don't want to put the ball on the ground. So I don't blame them. I feel for them, but something that we've got to overcome. When the first piece of adversity strikes, we can't fold. It's a little bit of it's become a little bit of an issue that we've put our team in some bad positions, with so many of them being so early. And so, we just got to keep, we got to keep stressing the importance of the details of ball security. Each and every player's got to make it really important on each and every play that, that we're protecting the ball and those who have it. And it's not just the ball carriers, it's everybody finishing on blocks. It's, blocking on the perimeter. It's blocking the secondary players so guys don't get hit at the second level. And so, but it's definitely devastating to go through, and we just got to find a way. We lost the game on Saturday. We can't let it beat us twice. Facing the players in the locker room, and the thing I told them on Monday is we got to be ready to move on. They need leadership more than anything right now, and that's the thing. I stress my importance of my belief in them and our belief in our system, and so we got to move forward, from this point on, and be ready to focus this week on beating Rutgers, and that's all that matters.
So how do you capitalize on those missed big play opportunities then?
We just get back to work. That's everything. That's the importance of timing. Obviously the most shocking thing is, if we had a recurring situation in practice where we were missed opportunities, those probably wouldn't be, plays that we call in games. We've prepared at a really good level. Unfortunately, it didn't show on Saturday. We had a really good practice, and some of those, throws or opportunities that we missed, they were uncharacteristic because we didn't miss them throughout the week. But, we just got to get back to, the timing. We got to get back to working hard. We just got to be ready to execute when the time comes. You got to you got to take that skill set from practice, and now you got to take it and move it into the games.
Why do you think it's been such a big disparity between practice and games?
I really don't know. I really don't know. There has been a disparity, and that's kind of what I talked about. With our unit, where is the disconnect between practice and now getting into the games? Obviously, there's a level of that has the ability to being able to overcome adversity because we faced that early adversity throughout the first three games and moving on from the next play. We can't sit there and just dwell in the past of what happened maybe on the first series. I think when you look at all three first series, there was opportunities for plays to be made. Obviously, the first play, the first game was. Was the miss route by the back. It didn't get out, and quarterback scrambles, and then we put the ball on the ground. But then, the other series, the ball moved. We're driving, and then, starting to have momentum, and then you face adversity, and it kind of deflates and takes the air out of the unit. So the biggest thing for us is being able to overcome adversity, play with confidence, and continue to play with confidence throughout the game. Do not let outside factors or within the game factors decide how the game finishes, and that's something we're going to keep emphasizing and keep stressing. And to see the kids show up on Monday and ready to work, there was a sense of obviously there was a sense of humility for everyone. leaving that field. But the thing that you want to see as a coach is how well they're willing to respond, and to look in the eyes of these young men and see their commitment, to see that they didn't just quit at the end of the game. Morally, okay, did we feel defeated? Yes, but I think there's an element that the kids fought to the end, and we're ready to overcome it and move on and focus on Rutgers.
Is there anything you do as a play caller to help them respond to those moments of adversity?
Yeah, we've tried to, obviously, and you look at the Army game. Obviously, we slowed things down, kind of a little bit in the second half. After having 3 fumbles and trying to kind of calm everybody from that standpoint. There's no right or wrong way. I think each game presents its own challenge based on score and situation and opponent. Obviously, we kind of fell behind this week, so there wasn't really an opportunity to kind of slow things down. Considering the score in the game, and so, but we can't do that to ourselves. We've got to be able to eliminate the mistakes. We got to be able to eliminate the adversity, eliminate the missed opportunities, and we got to capitalize on them. It's really. There's really no excuses for it. We can't say, well, if this happens, that. No, we just can't accept it. We can't accept the mistakes. We can't accept the adversity, and we just got to be mentally strong enough and to overcome it all.
You kind of touched on it there, but I think it was John the other day was kind of talking about with Wisconsin, they marched down the field, that it kind of dictated what your offense was doing. How do you stop that from happening and kind of flip the script and say, no, we're going to run what we want to run no matter what the other team is doing?
We ran what we wanted to run. The thing is, we just didn't capitalize on the plays that we had in front of us. We had 2 first-half turnovers. We played 23 plays in the first half on offense. And so, when you do that, you've got to, in order to get more plays, you got to capitalize on the plays that you have. You got to, get the first downs. We had a situation in the game where we get a 3rd down penalty, and then we immediately overreact and back ourselves up 20 yards, because we overreact with a penalty. And so we can't have those moments that we beat ourselves in the game. And so, I think overall, when you look at us, obviously, we've got some undisciplined characteristics that are showing up, and we just got to focus on being the most disciplined team that takes the field each and every week. Continue to remain our confidence in tough situations, and that's the thing. These kids right now, they need confidence, they need leadership. And when you look in their eyes, the execution falls in those 2 areas. It falls in confidence and falls in leadership. And so, I told them on Monday, how much I believe in them. And I know their belief in us as coaches and belief in me, and we're in this thing together. Obviously it was something that we were very disappointed about, but it's something that we're going to move forward from and look to learn from those mistakes that have presented themselves.
I believe Coach Harbaugh said Zach was limited against Wisconsin. He had 2 carries. Was he available for more? Do you have a sense for how you'll be able to use him going forward?
Zach was definitely limited, as well as a number of different players. Donovan's first play Saturday was the first time he practiced all week long. Tariq was out last week. We had a number of different injuries that we were kind of battling throughout the week, and so. The biggest thing for us offensively is to get healthy and get the guys into practice so we can get into a rhythm and flow that can carry out throughout the game. That's been a little bit of a challenge for us because you look at every practice, we haven't had all 11 starters on offense ever. And so, it even goes back to the spring. And so we just got to continue to get healthy. We got to manage the players that we have and make sure that, that we keep them healthy and they're getting the right amount of reps to being able to take those practice reps and turn them into game reps, but also getting the experience and all the detail down with everybody that is backups, just in case if a guy needs to step in, they can step in and fill the void.
Is there anything 3 weeks into this role that has surprised you or is unexpected?
Yeah, a lot has, just the adversity, but what I told him is obviously, when you look at where we are from a turnover standpoint, no one expects to be there after 3 games. We've really faced some tough adversity, and not necessarily faced some tough adversity. We've really kind of put ourselves in some tough adversity. I shared with them this is something that as coaches, a lot of us have been through before. I know I've been through in my career. I told them a story back in 2016. For me, we started off the season 2-2, and a little bit worse the situation than we are now. And had an opportunity to come here to Ann Arbor and at a previous institution and lost 49-10 and pretty much got embarrassed that day. And the following week, we, played a 26-29 overtime game, and then it clicked for our players. Our players came together, and we went on winning the Big Ten championship that year. And so sometimes adversity is sometimes something that you never want to use to bond your guys together, but it's something that forms a bond, because when you go through the pressure situations, it only makes you tighter. I believe in every single one of our players. And I don't just believe in them because I'm the offensive coordinator. I believe in them because I've seen them execute at such a high level. I've seen them perform this offense. I've seen them have success. And so that's why I hurt, being the guy that's in charge and being the guy that's the leader for them. I hurt when I'm not able to see those guys have that success. And so I take it very personal, just as they take it personal. And so, we're joined together. We're gonna always stay together and be together, and that's the unit that we are. And we'll move forward. We definitely will.
Josh, you mentioned the turnovers and the penalties and the guys lacking confidence. Do you think maybe that some of these guys are uncomfortable maybe with what you've thrown at them, or do you think you throw them too much at them?
No, not at all. It's just a consistency deal for us. On Monday, I put together a 100-play cut-up, and every play that we've had a negative play out there, it's surprising because there's been a positive play in that play as well. So to go through that 100-play, I didn't even watch the game with the players. I watched a 100-play cut-up with them, and I showed them, okay, when we execute, this is how this play goes. But then also when we don't execute, this is the result of it. And so, for us offensively, it's a consistency deal. There hasn't been a lot thrown at them that they haven't previously had experience with. Obviously, there's some things that we're still carrying over from last year, some plays that were helpful and effective last year. We're running a lot of the same schemes in that standpoint. And so it's not about a amount of reps that guys have had, because they've been prepared extremely well as far as the amount of reps that they've had. It's about an execution. It's about making sure we fine-tune all the details by position groups and by coaches, and we executed those details at an extreme high level in the game.
Josh, with the
No, I was just Peoples-Jones did not practice last week, is that what you said before?
No, Donovan was a game time decision. Obviously he's been limited and hurt a little bit, and he kind of jogged a little bit, and we didn't know if he was going to be able to go on Saturday. And then he felt, obviously when you're going into a game and you have a little bit of you have that. You just have some energy and juice about you, from that standpoint. He felt good and ready to go. And so that was obviously a big positive as far as, his rehab and development, and hopefully we'll continue to get healthier as an offensive unit. Obviously, we lost some guys in the game this past week that kind of hurt us. But we got to rally the troops and get as healthy as possible, as fast as possible as we can be, so we can be the unit that we want to be.
Well, Charbonnet, is he still limited?
We're managing Zach's situation. Zach's practicing for us. We're managing him just like we manage any of our other players. And so, at this point, we've got a lot of guys that have some small little nicks and bruises that we just got to manage, and it's nothing severe or nothing, that can become, dangerous to their health or immediately or anything, just things that we have to manage to make sure we get the guys to Saturday. But they also have the right amount of reps throughout the week to being able to play Saturday at a high level.
What have you seen from Shea this week? It sounded like he was working through some stuff too. And do you give some extra time to Joe to make sure he's ready?
Yeah. Joe's been getting plenty of reps this week, and Joe's level of preparation has obviously increased under the situation that we're in. We're a little banged up at the quarterback position, and so to see Joe get those reps, and it's been really pleased and really good. I think Shea, Shay's been out there at practice, and I think he's preparing. I think there's a level of of remorse that he has a little bit, as far as some of the pressure that he's that's been applied to him, as well as some of the pressure that he's kind of put himself under. And so I believe in Shea. I believe in every one of our players. And Shea has 100% of my support, just like anyone else does, and Joe has my support. And so, we just got to, collectively, it's not just one person, it's everyone. It's myself, it's our offensive unit, it's everyone collectively together. And so we're never going to point a finger and say, we all have to help someone play better. Okay, I've got to help these kids play better. These kids have to help each other play better. And so, you know, collectively as a unit, we're as good as we will be as good as we stay together, you know. And so we will never be in a position where, you know, where it's just one guy's fault. It's a collective group.
How do you
We
get
got time
someone?
for a couple more questions.
How do you get someone like Nico more involved in the offense?
Yeah, I think, obviously, Nico had some opportunities for some catches. Obviously, throughout the games, he's drawn a couple pass interferences per game. But, got to continue to develop Nico. Got to continue to develop, obviously, our whole unit as the receivers to create the separation that we need, obviously, to make the plays that we need when we come open. But then also an element of making the right reads in the pass game, and so, we just, overall, there's just a ton of work, to get better as a unit. We're not where we need to be in that room. That falls on me, and I got to continue to get those guys better. They got to continue to play with great detail and execute the fundamentals properly on each play that are important. And so, when their level of play increases, it'll also help everyone else. It'll help, the quarterback. It'll help the running backs. So collectively, all together, we just got to continue to get better. I don't think right now you can say there's one group that's just standing out above the rest within our offense. And so every group, we've got to challenge ourselves to be the difference. And in order for us to be the difference, we got to change. We got to do something different every week, how we prepare, how well we execute the details in order to make a difference.
It seems like he was a little bit frustrated at times on Saturday. Is that a conversation he's had with you?
No. I don't think you could look out there and say one person was frustrated. I think all together, including myself, offensively, we were frustrated. I don't think by any means, the ball finds you. When you do the right things, the ball finds you. And so, the thing that we stress on offense is the balance. We don't just, we just don't target one people. You look at the consistency and balance of run pass we are, and the consistency and balance of how many people touch the ball and where the ball goes. But in order for the ball to find you, you just got to be able to execute at a high level in those details and standpoint. And so I've never seen any frustration from Nico from that standpoint. Obviously, we're missing 10 drives on the year, so, when you count the fumbles and the opportunity, that's 10 drives taken away from your offense. And so, I don't think we're in a position right now to look at statistics and count numbers. We're in a position right now where we look at offensively, how can we improve those negative situations and how can we move forward and get better.
We hear a lot about Joe Milton's arm strength. I mean, what else do you see from him in practice?
Obviously Joe's blessed with an extremely talented arm, and he's really improved as a passer with touch. It's just not just always having zip on the ball, but now it's about when you have the room that we have, it's about how equally can you prepare the guys to get the right amount of reps that they need to be able to create those reps, to be able to turn them into game reps. And so that's an advantage this week Joe has, is now, he's getting a chance to go out there and not just run as a 2 or 3 or possible 1. He's getting a chance to go out there and take some live reps on the fire against our defense. We've done a lot more competitive periods this week, kind of getting back to an old school way of just competing against each other, good on good, speed on speed, from that standpoint. And so Joe's progressing. He came in right away, right away on Monday, stressing that he wanted to play, he wanted an opportunity. And so that's what we want from all of our guys. We want all of our guys to feel the sense of urgency and the that we have on offense and as a team. That if they're, if there's a way for them to contribute, we want them to contribute. And so, I'm excited to continue to see Joe progress and find a way to help this team and help this offense.
How have you seen him progress since you got here?
I just think, just in the pocket, just kind of working his pocket fundamentals, just not just looking at the rush. And obviously, as a young quarterback, you always come in, the first thing that surprises you is the rush. And especially it can be challenging versus our team with all the pressure looks that they present in practice and all the man coverage where things happen fast. There's kind of bullets crossing the face from that standpoint. But Joe's really improved in his pocket presence. Now it's about kind of carrying over everything, being the general in charge of the offense and being able to lead and direct the others around him. And collectively, he's gotten really better at that. And, as a young quarterback, you like where he is because, he's on progress.
When did you start working Ben Mason into the offense, and will he continue to?
Yeah,
be part of
we've,
it?
I've even said that in the spring, Ben, there will be opportunities that Ben presents himself as a running back in our offense. And so, obviously we get into some short yardage situations. It's something we didn't use the first 2 games, but we had been repping in practice and kind of preparing for the right opportunity for us to call those situations. Ben's run the ball extremely well in the past, it was a very similar type play that he had success on last year in the same exact play. Ben's a tough kid. We love him. I don't fault Ben for any situation. He's been getting those reps. He's been running the ball. Obviously, probably hadn't been in as many live situations, but he's got a number of accounted reps as a runner carrying the football. And so it's our job to help support him. It's our job to make sure that, he gets through that hole clean and no one touches him. So collectively, everybody's got to, do their job. And, part of my job is putting them in on the plays that, that he's comfortable with. And that's a play that he's comfortable with. And, I can bet on Ben that won't happen again.
You mentioned, getting old school, going back, good on good. Was there a departure from that, and do you see going forward that that's the way to go?
No, it's not. You do a lot of that in fall camp. You do a lot of that in spring. The challenge in the season is the different looks that you get defensively. You look at the last 2 weeks, and even this week, we're going against a different defensive structure than what we go against in practice. And so you want to try to divide as much time as possible to work against that defensive structure, with it being a 3-4 Okie defense. And so, which is different than the kind of 3 down front that our defense runs. And so there's a thin line, there's a thin line of how much time can you spend as far as your good on good and your preparation for that. But then you also got to be able to devote and divide that time to spend against your upcoming opponent, because you missed those plays, And so, I think we found a good resource, and, for us, as far as being able to add some more time to compete good on good and go against our defense. But there's a give and take, because you lose those reps preparing for the other team. But for us, it's not about anything else. It's about us. It's about us as a team. It's about us as an offense. It's about us as a unit. Obviously our focus this week is on Rutgers and solely on Rutgers, but our main focus internally is about improving the way we can improve and eliminating the mistakes that we've made.
Guys, we got